we have to risk our entire planet with this insane kind of research. It's basically weather modification. China's been doing it for years. It's another form of what the U.S. government has even been doing. The ABC News meteorologists bragged about the cloud seeding they're doing to increase rain or snow and storms. They will control the government will control the weather, and you will be happy. That seems to be the new motto.
All right, guys, today we're going to get right into it. You know what getting ahead of the story means? You know, like when you are saying something doesn't exist, but there's so much overwhelming evidence about it that you start changing your messaging. You start to say, well, this is why we do it, or this is why we do it, or you know what I mean? Like, it's called getting ahead of the story. So I believe that there's so much information coming out on the internet about all the lies we've been exposed to our whole lives that they're finally going to start getting ahead of some of those stories to try to calm down the general public about it. Okay, and the one we're going to talk about today is the chemtrails, because we've been warning about the chemtrails and how they're affecting us. Spraying aluminum and barium and all that stuff down on us. If you look up aluminum and what it does to your mind. We've talked about fluoride in the drinking water, how that's hurting your pineal gland and it's making you unresponsive and dulling your emotions. And you can go look all this stuff up for yourself. But today what we're going to do is we're going to drill down on the chemtrails, okay? Because a lot of people are talking about it online. It's like a huge topic right now. They're seeing the crisscrosses in the sky, the lingering long lines in the sky, and everyone, you know, that's not like a younger person, they could probably pull the wool over your eyes, but older folks know that this is not how we grew up. We did not grow up with tic-tac-toe signs in the sky.
Official sources tell us we are only seeing condensation trails in our skies. They tell us jet trails can last for hours and expand to cover the entire horizon or not exist at all, depending on atmospheric conditions. They tell us what is clearly a jet spray dispersion being turned on and off is only our imagination. Are we to blindly believe the glaring, blatant, and completely absurd official lies, or are we to believe what we can see with our own eyes? Climate engineering aerosol spray dispersions are absolutely and inarguably occurring in skies all over the globe, as this shocking video so clearly illustrates.
Now, this is the latest news. The best way to find out if we can cool the planet. Okay, now they're going to start bringing all this conspiracy theory news out into the open mainstream public, and they're getting ahead of the stories, right? So this is actually going to save you. Spraying aluminum, barium, and all these other chemicals in the sky is actually going to save you. That's the spin. Here we go. A few years ago, the idea of deliberately blocking the sun to combat climate change was taboo for scientists, but a lot can change in a short time. Boy, isn't that the truth. You guys have seen a lot of changes in a very short time, and a lot of it was manipulated through fear, and that's how they get you to change some of your behaviors and accept some of the crazy stuff that's been going on. As the disastrous effects of climate change mount, which is all another big fat lie, Congress has asked federal scientists for research plan, private money is flowing, and rogue startups are attempting experiments. All signs that momentum around solar geoengineering is building fast. The most discussed approach involves spraying tiny particles into the atmosphere to reflect sunlight and cool the planet. Other proposals include injecting sea salt into clouds to increase their reflectivity, or using giant space parasols to block the sun. It might all sound like a dystopian science fiction, but some techno-futurists like OpenAI's chief executive Sam Altman are already normalizing it. We're going to have to do something dramatic with climate, like geoengineering, as a band-aid, as a stopgap, he said in January at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Hold on. Where was he at? At the World Economic Forum in Davos.
As the Biden administration signals its fight against global warming may actually involve blocking sunlight. The White House posting research claiming, quote, solar radiation modification would enable better informed decisions about the potential risk and benefits of SRM as a component of climate policy, alongside the foundational elements of greenhouse gas emissions mitigation. Our next guest warns this is simply government's way to control your weather. Mark Morano, publisher of ClimateDepot.com, and he joins us now. Okay, Mark, my take this morning was maybe this is one of those or else, get on board with everything else or we're going to block the sun. But I guess it's a little bit more, reality than that. Tell us about it.
Well, this is actually Bill Gates funding this as well through Harvard University. This is retro 1970s. In the 1970s, they believed that our fossil fuels were creating aerosols, blocking the sun, creating man-made global cooling. So they came up with the same kind of geoengineering solutions back then. They wanted to put black soot on the Arctic to melt it. There was one proposal to use nuclear energy to help loosen the Arctic ice caps because they thought they were growing too much. And John Holdren, back in the Obama administration, also supported this kind of geoengineering, if you will, of the climate. This is radical, risky, unproven, unknown effects, but they're doing it as a sort of lever over us to say now in the Biden administration, kind of like, yeah, we know this is dangerous, we don't know the effects, but darn it, people aren't buying electric cars fast enough, or they're not embracing Green New Deal policies, so we have to risk our entire planet with this insane kind of research. It's basically weather modification. China's been doing it for years. It's another form of what the U.S. government has even been doing. The ABC News meteorologists bragged about the cloud seeding they're doing to increase rain or snow and storms. They will control the government will control the weather, and you will be happy. That seems to be the new motto.
Now they're putting it right in the open square for everyone to see. I've already posted videos about this too. The Biden administration is all in with the WEF program on killing us all off with spraying everything in the skies. I've noticed a lot of top-down tree dying, especially in the Midwest where we live. The trees are actually dying at the top and working their way down. You'll see a lot of them are cracked in half when the winds come. They're not pulling out of the roots, out of the ground or anything. So just keep your eye on that. We're seeing a lot of abnormal weather going on right now. Leave a comment down below if you guys are seeing abnormal weather. Huge spikes in temperatures, and right now at home we're doing 70 degrees one day. It drops to over to 20 degrees at nighttime, and then in the next day it could be 30 degrees. So you're getting a lot of temperature fluctuation, which is not good, especially while we're coming out of winter time and we're entering spring. And what's happening is the warm weather comes and everything starts to bud, like our apple trees and our berry plants and all of our fruit bearing plants, and then they zap it with that cold real quick, and then you get no produce. Okay, I'm also going to do a video coming up about our food supply system and all the different attacks that have been on it. So I want you guys to just keep this in mind as you're going about your daily lives, because they're hiding this information from you guys. But I find it very interesting that now they're talking about geoengineering and what they're doing in the skies and how they think it's actually going to help the planet. Leave a comment down below if you think spraying aluminum and barium and all these other chemicals in the sky is actually going to help the planet. Leave a comment down below. Share this video with your friends, because the ones that don't believe that this is happening, you can actually show them and all the mounting evidence that this is already in play. They've already established the private public sector relationship, and they are up there spraying the chemicals. And let's say that people don't do homework like a lot of people, and they just think that they're trying to save the planet. Now you guys can understand how they might be tricked into spraying those chemicals up there, but will in the long term totally harm humanity. Okay, see you on the next video.